Since childhood, we've been conditioned to fear aging, viewing it as a slow, inevitable decline, a fading of beauty, relevance, and opportunity. Society idolizes youth as if it's the only phase of life worth living, while every step beyond it is met with resistance. Wrinkles are seen as flaws to be erased, gray hair something to hide, and birthdays beyond a certain age are greeted with dread rather than celebration. But why do we see aging as a loss rather than a natural evolution? Carl Jung had a different perspective. He believed that the second half of life wasn't a descent, but a rebirth, a shift from outward achievement to inner fulfillment. Yet in today's world, this transformation is rarely nurtured. Instead, we are filled with a fear of time itself, convinced that every passing year takes something away from us. We frantically cling to youth, failing to recognize that fulfillment comes not from resisting time, but from embracing its gifts. Our obsession with youth is more than a cultural trend. It's a deeply ingrained belief that shapes modern life. Media, from movies to advertisements, sends the same message. The young are dynamic and full of potential, while the old fade into irrelevance. In workplaces, older individuals are often overlooked, their experience devalued in favor of fresh talent. We live in a world where aging is not just feared, it's actively denied. Anti-aging products promise to turn back the clock, and people feel pressured to maintain the illusion of youth, often at great personal cost. But what do we lose in this desperate attempt to deny aging? Jung argued that by resisting the process of growing older, we deny ourselves the deeper meaning life offers: growth, transformation, and self-awareness. There's irony in society's fear of aging. While we chase eternal youth, we overlook what we truly seek: fulfillment. In the first half of life, we chase success, validation, and external achievements. But what happens when we reach those goals and still feel empty? Jung believed that the second half of life is where our true purpose emerges, a shift from the ego-driven pursuits of youth to a more authentic way of being. Yet many resist this transformation, feeling lost when ambitions that once defined them lose meaning. This fear of aging is not just about physical decline. It's a fear of confronting what lies beyond superficial success. If youth is about building an identity, then aging is about discovering the truth beneath it. What if everything we've been taught about aging is wrong? What if, instead of decline, aging is actually an ascension? Many cultures outside the modern Western world understand this. Indigenous societies revere elders as keepers of wisdom. In Eastern philosophies, aging is viewed as a journey toward enlightenment, where the distractions of youth fade and clarity emerges. What if we saw aging not as something to be feared, but embraced? Jung's great insight was that the second half of life is not about loss, but integration, a time when we begin to understand who we truly are beyond the roles we once played. But to reach this understanding, we must first break free from the illusion that youth is the peak of existence. Life doesn't end at 40. In many ways, it's just beginning. From our first breath, life is a process of becoming. As children, we absorb expectations from our families, schools, and cultures, shaping ourselves to fit the world. We learn what brings approval and what leads to rejection. Slowly, we build an identity, a self, to present to the world, designed to secure love and recognition. This is the birth of the ego, the psychological structure that defines our place in society. For the first half of life, we are its loyal servants. We chase achievements, status, and external success, believing that if we build the right life, we'll feel complete. But no matter how much we achieve, a deeper hunger remains. Jung believed that the ego's journey is necessary but incomplete. It's not the end, only the beginning. The ego thrives on separation, defining itself by what it is and is not. It seeks control and certainty, driving us to pursue ambition, competition, and comparison. But defining ourselves solely by external markers makes our identity fragile. When a career ends or youth fades, who are we then? These are questions the ego cannot answer. Jung saw this crisis as an initiation, not a failure. It's the soul's way of calling us to something deeper. But many resist, doubling down on old patterns, chasing new goals to reignite the excitement of youth. Yet the ego's journey was never meant to last forever. At midlife, we stand at a crossroads, cling to an identity that no longer fits, or step into the unknown, embracing a deeper, more authentic existence. Jung called this process individuation, the shift from living for the ego to living from the self. To reach this stage, we must recognize the limits of the identity we spent so long constructing. The problem isn't that ambition and success are meaningless. They're vital, but they're not enough. They were never the destination, only the preparation. This transition often feels like a loss, but it's actually a new beginning. As we move beyond the ego, life becomes more authentic and meaningful. At midlife, we face a reckoning, where we can choose to awaken to the deeper self that has been waiting all along. By letting go of the self we thought we were, we uncover who we were meant to be. Jung believed that true transformation begins when we confront not just our light, but our shadow, the parts of ourselves we've ignored or denied. Midlife is not just a crisis, it's an opportunity for growth, a chance to become whole. Those who have the courage to face their shadow and embrace this process discover a freedom they've never known. It's not the end, it's the beginning of a deeper, more authentic way of living.